just going to start announcing the team from fullback backwards. So Warwick Khalat is fullback, Saboon Kosi right wing, Jesse Kriel and Andre Esterhuis in the centre pairing, Makazola Mapimpi left wing, Elton Yankees and Ursel Yankees the scrum up and fly off, Francois Lowe 8th man, Peter Steff 7th flanker, then Reinhard Alstedt 6th, the two lockers Lode Jager and Eben Etzepet who will also be captain. Trevor Niakane, Bonke Denambi and Beast the front row. Our reserves is Hooker Skalk Brits, Lizo and Vincent Koch, the two front rowers covering there. Lock forward reserve Marvin Ori, and then loose forward Marcel Pixier. Scrum off Kobus Reinach, Frans Stein, inside centre / fly off reserve, and then Dylan Lights outside back cover. Yes, that's basically the team.
Thank you, Rassie. Questions for Rassie? I have the team on sheet also for those who need it, and we've sent it out on social media and email.
Just a word on the new guys, Herschel and Ryan and Oscar, just your thoughts about them and how they fitted into the camp this week and what you expected them?
Yeah, Herschel, first of all, I think, we know exactly what we have in guys like Ivan and Ambrose and even Luis Schroeder. We all of them had a good run last year, and we know exactly what we have in them. Both Herschel and Kobus, they really knocked down the door just the way they played in Super Rugby. I think Herschel, when he came up against some of the best guys in Super Rugby, he was really standing his ground and had some wonderful games consistently on attack and defense, and really for a young guy, technically he did really well. He slotted in really well. Obviously, there's a few guys, Stormers guys in the Springbok setup who he really knows well. I think that helps a little bit. He'll be nervous, it'll be his first test match, but I think he'll be good to go. And Reinhard Alstedt, he's a player that's played at the highest level in top 14 rugby and reaching finals and winning finals there, which is a pretty tough league. But again, it's test match rugby, he'll have to make the step up there in terms of slotting into our system. Having the coached him before and worked with him for a couple of years at the Stormers, I think was a bit of a benefit, understanding the way we more or less plan things and do things. So there wasn't any hiccups there, but the proof is in the pudding on how they relate that to test match rugby against a very good quality team.
Rassie, some of the guys are going to go and get to New Zealand or whatever, which would indicate that most of the guys playing this week are maybe not going to start next week or whatever. Is this sort of a one-off chance or trial for some of the guys?
Look, we 38 guys in the group, which only Sia wasn't really training, and actually the last 3-4 days he was almost training with us full on. So there will be 32 guys going over to New Zealand and Argentina, and there's 31 guys going to the World Cup. So there will always be 36, 37 guys in the wider group for the World Cup squad. So I guess there's a few guys on standby currently who's injured, like Tavian Willems. There's a couple of guys who's injured currently. Warren Whiteley might come into the mix. And then there's a few French players who wasn't selected, like Courtney and Wilker, and those guys who can still open their path. But to be honest with you, if we didn't have the tough draw in terms of travelling, both New Zealand and Australia, we would have probably picked the best choice team, first choice team in form for this game and the next game. So I wouldn't say it's a last opportunity, because if we pick up momentum and we do okay, there will be another chance to give a guys against Argentina a chance. But then again, if we do lose momentum somewhere, we might have to grab it again. So I wouldn't say it's the last chance.
Sorry, just on Frans Stein, you mentioned /5 cents or whatever. Where would you like to see him play, or does that depend on the match?
Inside centre is probably the position where I feel since 2011, when I was involved with the World Cup there, and I think where he's played most of his rugby. Obviously, he's very he's a good rugby player at 10, and he's really good at 15 as well. So he does give you that versatility and experience, which you sometimes do need at the World Cup. But he still has to prove himself. He really did well in this last week or so with us. He slotted in well, and he brings a lot of calmness and leadership and experience. Again, stepping up from Pro 14, just like Reinhard and guys like Herschel from Super Rugby. France must now again prove that he can still make the step up in Test match rugby. But I think 12 is probably the position that he must go for, whilst covering the others for us.
Rassie, there's been reports that Dion Davids has been seen in the farm camp. Can you tell us what his role will be there?
Yeah, there's a couple of guys who've been shadowing us. There was Sean Rue was there, Dion Davids was there, we had a German guy there. Just a couple of guys who's just shadowing in terms of personal development. Dion has finished his stint with the Kings, and I know we're good friends, and he's currently looking at his options for next year. He wanted to shadow us and see how we do things. As you can see, if you guys were at training session, you'll see there's four or five other coaches as well. So we have no problem. Some of the guys always go overseas and go and shadow Eddie Jones or John Mitchell or those guys, and some guys do it with us at the Springbok. So I don't think there's too much to read into that. We are open to help South African guys, and sometimes we learn from that. So there's nothing specific to read into that.
Rassie, you scored a bit for choice on wingers now. Just maybe give us some thoughts on why these specific two wingers this week as opposed to next week, and is it the threats that Australia pose, or something that you guys obviously want to get through in your game?
Yeah, it's a tough one in terms of making sure, because the first thing, the first thing is we want to try and, I can give you my word, there's no disrespect to Australia at all. If this test match was on a Saturday and New Zealand was also in Argentina and they were also flying back on a Sunday, and both of us were arriving in New Zealand on a Tuesday, we would have picked also the best possible team. So it was a bit of a juggling act in terms of, we looked at playing time, when last did the Crusaders play, when last did our guys play, when last did the overseas guys play, and how much coaching time we got into different teams. For example, guys like the Stormers, we coached them for 3 weeks. Guys like the Sharks, they fell out in the quarterfinal. So it was a bit of game time, freshness, niggly injuries, Apuri now being out. So between Mapimpi, Chesman, Sabu, there's so many, they're so close to one another. But we just feel for this specific game, in the way we feel Australia play, which is it's a width game, it's an outflanking game, it's a high pace game, it's always the highest ball in play game that they bring to you, and they tend to try and go around you. And we feel with those two and Warwick at the back, it's the best combination to try and contain them speed-wise.
Thank you, Coach.
Rassie, just a bit more on the Aussies. No Israel for this time. Does it change anything in the way you approach them?
Look, obviously the big thing that he does is he's an aerial master. He's the best in the world at the aerial skills, which I think that's the one area where we improved a lot last year. I think we were better at contesting aerially, but then Australia, even when he was playing, they only kicked the ball, contestable wherever he was. So I guess that will come a little bit less to our way, the aerial skills. But in Eilert Petty, and I'm not sure, maybe Bill plays fullback, we haven't seen their team. I think Lelio Farner is out now, but they can between Beal and Foley and Eilert Petty, they're always very, then this guy played 10, the other one played 12, and it doesn't matter with the number on their back. So they will miss him, there's no doubt they will miss Falak, because he's a world-class player. But they interchange positions no matter what the number on their back. It's actually difficult to sum up if that guy actually playing 15, 12, or 13 or 10. They just interchange all the time. But yes, I think they'll be less of a threat aerially without it.
Rassie, Matt spoke earlier in the week about earlier in the week about the preparation of Australia coming a week earlier as opposed to coming here probably on a Sunday before the test week. Does that make you a little bit more wary of the Australians coming into this test match? Firstly, especially after such a long time out for a lot of the guys having had very little game time, as opposed to the Australians also. So does it make it a bit of a big game in terms of preparations?
No, that's a massive game, and I think there's no doubt that there's a bit of a gamble that we're taking, you know. Obviously, with the one eye on the World Cup, but you can't have your eye on the World Cup without building momentum going to the World Cup, as I said last week to you guys. So I think each coach is in a different position. Like, you know, the New Zealand coach has to rest a lot of Crusader guys, otherwise they just continue playing, and he's sending a few guys over to Argentina, and he's keeping a few guys back in New Zealand to be ready for our test match. Australia is in a different boat. That I think if you take their last few matches, end of last year, they would like to pick up some momentum. After us, they play Argentina away, then they play New Zealand at home and New Zealand away. So I guess for them, this game is a pretty big game in terms of picking up momentum for them again. So I guess they will come out in this game and see this as a big must win for them, and I guess that's why they'll probably pick the best informed first choice team. I guess I'm not sure. I'm guessing when I say that. So, but both of us has the same challenge in terms of they also fell out in the semi-finals, I think, the Brumbies. So they just played a week longer than the Bulls and the Sharks. So it's something we have to manage, and we try to simulate in training sessions to get that fitness levels with, or not fitness levels, game-related intensity, but no, test nets and altitude at Ellis Park is something which they would now be acclimatized to, so that advantage will be a little bit now even out.
Rassie, just maybe a word on the centre pairing. You could have gone with the combination. You went with Andre and Jesse, just the thoughts on that. And then also Jesse moving into more of a senior leadership role, maybe just a word or two on that as well.
Yeah, if you look at our team, I think if you look at our forward pack, it's a pretty experienced forward pack. I think if you look at Reinhard, it's obviously a new cap, and then Marcel off the bench is not a new cap, but he hasn't been in the mix for a while. But then, you know, Peter Steff, Eben, Loot, Beast, Bongi, you know, Trevor, those are guys who's been around the block for a while. So new scrum off, experienced fly off, and Andre I think he's a test cap 8 or 9, so, and he's played with Jesse quite a lot. So, and then, you know, Sabu and Mapims they did so well in Super Rugby, but they're not really experienced test match players. So Jesse is by far the guy who's most accustomed to test match rugby and the things we want to try and get right against Australia. So that's why he's vice captain in this game, and I must say he's doing a really great job and leading those boys there. And I guess Frans then will bring the same onto the field when he gets a chance. So we're just going to need something like that with the makeup of the team currently.
Henk?
Rassie, I know that Trevor Nyakani is quite experienced. He has 37 caps. But there was an opinion this year that for the first time, him and Lizo really stepped up to the plate and were arguably the best front row locally in Super Rugby, just because they had fitness and they had game time. Are you excited to see how they translate that form onto the international stage? And just a guy like Lizo, what do you think makes him a very good looser?
Yeah, look, I think it's one of the few World Cups. You go back to 2015, 2011, where we were really blessed with props. And you know, touch wood, hopefully we don't get a lot of injuries. But, you know, it's still, again, I'm going to mention Wilco, and again, I'm going to mention Cooney, guys like that. Even a guy like Dylan Smith from the Lions is a guy who played excellent Super. We really got good loosies going around. But consistently, Lizo really performed well. We've still got Thomas du Toit also in the mix there with us. So, but Lizo and Trevor started every single game for the Bulls, and they were the team that went the farthest, the furthest at the English work, the furthest to in Super Rugby for us. And I guess because they played every game, almost every game at least to 60-70 minutes. So Lizo's got a nice engine on him. He's extremely strong. Sometimes, you know, techniques against certain targets he struggles a bit, but with Don Newman at the Bulls, and we were having Sculptrix next to him, working with Trevor now, and Matt has linked a lot with Don, and obviously Sculpt being there. I'm excited to see what he can do at test match level. And the nice thing, I know he's 29, 30, so he's only really started at a late age from loose forward to loose head, but he's still got that engine, you know. And at the high felt, him and Sculptrix and Vincent Koch coming on together in the second half might help us a lot.
Thank you, Rassie. We go to some Afrikaans. Shahid, Brendan. Zeker.
Coach, kan je dat zeggen? Die heeft span gevat. Die keer zo aan, ja. Een Afrikaanse.
Een deernis?
Een deernis?
Een deernis. Ja, so basies die span, weet, in die kapteinskap kan is Eben ou wat die bokke voor die kaptein gewees het, en as jy kyk na ons voorspeler pak, is het totalike experience pak voorspelers, ek het net vergeet om Frans Verlouw te noem. So ek dink, die rede hoekom ons hierdie pak voorspelers gekies het, is omdat ons 'n redelike jong 9 het, en jy wil vir 'n baie goeie platform gee teen 'n baie goeie Wallaby span. En dan selfs met Jessie Kriel in terme van ou soos Cebu en Makazolo wat redelik briljant was in Super Rugby, maar redelik niet is op toetsvlak rugby dieselfde met waar ek geland. Is Jessie een van die ouer hande in ons backline en dis hoe my vice captain vir ons is. So ek dink in terme van dit het ons die span ook so probeer kies, omdat ons weet Australië is 'n span wat hou van 'n hoë tempo, bal in hand en hulle hou meer van om jou hardloop, is regtig deur jou hardloop en ons hoop hierdie span kan dit handle. En dan in terme van die ouens op die bank, dink ons omdat ons op die hoofveld speel, jy weet, ek dink ouens so skalk vir dit liefs en Vincent is 'n redelike mobiele voorry wat kan opkom en die tempo vir ons lig as ons nodig het, saam met ouens soos Marvin Orrie. Marcel Coetzee is definitief ook een van die ouens wat consistent goeie rugby gespeel het vir Ulster, soos opgewonde hoe hy dit gaan doen, en dan ouens soos Kobus Reinach, ek dink hy is in dieselfde asem as ouens soos Jantjies, die manier hoe hulle vir hulle klubs gespeel het, moet ou net eenvoudig die ouens 'n kans gee. Die groot challenge van al die ouens wat ek hier genoem het, selfs met Dylan Leitz, Frans Steyn, is almal het op klub rugby of Pro 14 rugby of Super Rugby nou goed gedoen, toets rugby teen 'n Wallaby span wat ek dink hierdie game ongelooflik baie getaak het, omdat hulle so 'n bietjie op 'n moeiliker rand gegaan het, maar na ons game het hulle 'n weggame en dan 2 games teen Nieu-Seeland tuis en weg, wat 'n taamlik moeilike running is na die World Cup, dus ek neem aan hierdie wedstryd is nog wel 'n baie groot taak gewees, so die span het 'n groot taak, maar overall vir die 2 games wat ons wil speel, dink ek is die beste 2 gebalanseerde spanne om vir ons in al twee games 'n redelike goeie kans te gee.
Because is 'n goeie opsomming. Christen?
Rassie, wat sê jy bijvoorbeeld as 'n middelondersteuner in die straat jou voorkeer en vir jou sê, wil ek nou Saterdag die toets gaan kyk, maar ek 700-800 rand uithaal daarvoor, maar ek sien nou nie eintlik Suid-Afrika se beste span speel nie. Wat sê jou antwoord vir so 'n ou wees?
My antwoord sal wees in 2011 toe ons teen Nieu-Seeland het gespeel het, dus die Nieu-Seeland span en na toe gewen ons in Port Elizabeth en gewen na die World Cup in afgeval op die ou in Nieu-Seeland. So, baie keer met 'n ou terwyl die momentum bou, moet jy 'n paar kansse vat, en ek bedoel, as Bismet Tarawera, Eben Expert, Lodi Jager, Pieter Steefse Tooi, Frans Verlouw, Makazolo Mapimpi, Jessie Kriel, Sebun Kosi, Warwick Verlang, jy weet, Lise Toboko, Vincent Zaai, ons nie excited maak en dink hulle is baie naby en hulle push die ouens wat miskien nommer 1 in die saal is, nie baie naby aan hulle nie, jy weet, ek dink die verskil tussen Beast en Steven Kitchell en Cinema Lood en Sous of Eben en Erfie Snyman, en ek dink daar's 4 of 5 spelers wat jy kan sê, hierdie man is definitief 100% first choice, so ek dink dis 'n Springbok span, as ons op die dag die wedstryd wen, ek weet nie of die kaartjies is nie, maar dink ek is die moeite werd. Ek moet maar 'n bietjie van kanse vat, en ek besef die coach sal die hou vat, en die span nie perform, maar ons moet ons oog so 'n bietjie langtermyn op hê, ongelukkig.
En dan miskien ook dan net van die ouens wat nou van die volgende wat nou Saterdag al gaan speel en dan net miskien 'n week of 2-3 in aksie het gaan wees. Gaan hulle toegelaat word om terug te gaan kyk na rugby toe, en selfs die oorseese ouens van hulle kan oorsee na hulle klubs toe gaan en dan weer terugkom. Hoe gaan jy dit werk?
Ja, maar ou soos jy laasweek gesien het, ou soos Lode Jager Karikap rugby gespeel. So ouens wat nie saam met ons oorsee gaan nie, sal Karikap rugby speel. Ouens wat van oorsee af kom, wat nie toer goed maak nie, sal van oorsee klubs weer gaan speel. So ons groot doel is almal wat by ons oefen, moet kan oefen. Sia is nou obviously heeltemal 'n ander saak, want hy is ons kaptein en ons wil seker maak hy gaan World Cup toe. So hy sal tot en met Saterdag by die toets saam met ons wees, en ek dink ons het 'n bietjie meer goeie nuus oor hom. Ek verwag hy gaan dalk oor so 2 games al vir die week kan uitdraf. Hy kom baie vinnig reg as ons dink dat hy gaan regkom. So ek is redelik seker ons gaan hom dalk 2 toetse kan inspan. Ek is redelik seker, ek hoop ons gaan hom 2 toetse kan inspan voor ons op die vliegtuig klim, so dit gaan goed. So ja, ons wil die ouens net in kamp hou en hulle moet games onder hulle help.
Okay, baie dankie. Dankie coach. Ons gaan net gou, we will just break for a few minutes and then we'll get the 2 players up here and then we continue. Thank you.